Welcome back to my channel. My name is Krista, and I'll be doing your May 2019 general tarot reading for the sign of Sagittarius. So this is for Sagittarius Sun, Sagittarius Moon, and Sagittarius Rising signs. I hope that you enjoyed your April 2019 reading. Let's get into your May 2019 reading. Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know for May 2019? Messages for Sagittarius. So we do have the Hangman that just jumped out there. We could be looking at a sacrifice, surrender, or shift in perspective may be necessary. This does allow for or invite an element of enlightenment here, and pause. So it's also interesting to see if it'll show up in your main spread today. And that could just be a message for a particular Sagittarius watching today. As always, we'll get jumper cards from the Oracle decks to my right. In the meantime, let's get your 5 cards out for your May 2019 reading. Messages for Sagittarius. Sagittarius. Oh, and then we have the World. So 2 major arcanas just jumped out there. I mean, whenever we see the World, we can sort of sum that up by saying the world is your oyster. You know, the world is at your feet. You have a great deal of choices, perspective about the future here. Could be that you're about to make a big change or shift in your life in the month of May. Messages for Sagittarius, May 2019. Messages for Sagittarius. May 2019. There we go, folks. So as always, I'll use the bottom of the deck card or cards for general energy for you. In the meantime, let's get these out so you can have a little look-see. Yeah, there's your big change there. There's the Tower. Something has to come to balance here. It could be a big decision is at hand. Let's move this over a tiny bit here. But, you know, something that wasn't built on solid ground here could be falling apart or giving you an opportunity to, like I said, see things in a different way. We do have a couple of swords energy here. There could be some internal conflict, some you thought you might have been maybe moving away from something here that was troubling you, and it may come back to haunt you here, or it may not be gone altogether. Nice new beginning here. Justice in the center, so justice will be served, usually to your benefit. And like I said, a big shift in consciousness here. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the King of Swords. Of course, this is, whenever we're looking at swords energy, Sagittarius, we're really looking at, you know, it's a cold but precise energy. I mean, there's a great deal of precision here. Whenever we're looking at the, you know, the kings as the court cards in the deck, we're looking at the fixed signs. So of course, this is going to represent Aquarius for you. So you could even have Aquarius in your own chart. If that's the case, I would use your natural Aquarian tendencies this month to help see you through, perhaps to do some further investigation, research, study, that type of thing. With the Justice in the center and the King of Swords showing up at the bottom of the deck as general energy for the month for you, however, there could literally be a legal concern this month as well. There could be legal or law issues, judges, courts, lawyers, contracts. I think if any of those are coming up, or you are doing any type of contract signing, I don't see property here, but listen, I'm reading, you know, for however many different kinds of situations as a general reading. I would suggest whatever you're about to get into or study or sign, especially, get a lawyer, okay? Or acquire an attorney somehow, or if you are adept at reading, say, legal documents, I would get someone else close to you that you trust to read over it to find anything you might have missed. It's a really good time to go over details, and I just don't see anything being missed here, but this is someone who has a very keen, exacting eye There's also a great deal of maturity here with the king. So, we have some mature energy, someone who's very well-learned, well-traveled. This is a person who has seen and done a lot of things. And finally, I might add here with the King of Swords, this is someone who's not going to or not interested in lying, fibbing, manipulating, tricking anybody. I think this person this energy, if it's not a person, has far too much integrity, and they just bow to the truth. So there's a great deal of positive attributes to this card, however cold and exacting it might be accused of. I really just am in the habit of taking a couple of cards underneath just to see what's going on, behind this, what's behind the scenes of even the bottom of the deck energy. And really what we're saying when I'm using the bottom of the deck energy is, technically what I'm doing is I'm weighing this bottom of the deck energy to every card here. So you can sort of imagine these are all being matched with this in order to get a better grasp on your story or what you may need to hear at this time. Underneath it, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 swords cards. So yeah, and there's a rest period here. So it looks like you've rested on something, you've taken a break from something, you've put something down for the time being. But because it's the majority, if we're not looking at major arcana here, we're looking at a lot of swords. This is thoughts, beliefs, ideas, conversation, and inner dialogue. So it could just be something that you need to, with the Hangman who jumped out very early on, it could just simply mean something that you need to come to terms with, have perspective on. But I do see you doing that. However, we'll get to this 8 of Swords here in a second and see why that may be perturbing you. And then underneath even all that is the 10 of Pentacles. So you're sitting in a really positive, I would say solid position. This is a very solid, comfortable position here. So I think you're doing well sort of physically or financially here. I don't think that's at all your concern. It could be a legal one, as I said. It could just be, let's get out of, say an institutional legal environment and look at justice as a term. We could just be looking at, you trying to seek justice or seek balance at this time as well. And because we have heavy swords energy, we are looking at information, education, conversation, communication, right? Internal dialogue, thoughts and beliefs. So that may be going on for you this month. In the North position, how the change is associated with your physical being or resources. So this is going to bring an opportunity to you. It could even be a very exciting one. It could even give you a spark of genius here, or a spark of genius may occur once you go and perform, say, the research or citations or data mining that you have to accomplish here. So I think it could even be an exciting adventure for you. What challenges, opportunities, or problems it may bring, however, is maybe not what you wanted to hear, right? Maybe you need to sail away to calmer waters. Maybe you were trying to find justice in a situation. The other person or agent or organization, say, accepted 3 out of your 5 recommendations. So there could be a compromise, in other words, here, even if you are given an opportunity. So the opportunity or problem or challenge could be that you're not really going to hear what you want to hear necessarily, but you can still sail to smoother waters. You can take that information and use it to your advantage, even if you're not going to see eye to eye. The changes affect on your plans or projects or how you will be inspired. So listen, the changes effect on your plans is sudden and extraordinary. So listen, this is just the way the Tower works. It doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like I pointed out, and I even mentioned when the Hangman jumped out as I was shuffling, I believe I did, compared it to, or contrasted it with rather, the Tower. It's not like this is going to, the Hangman is looking for perspective or invites it or surrenders, okay, to the information or to what is. This is going to potentially take you off balance out of your everyday. It could cause some confusion. It could upset your worldview. But again, with some, concepts in internal dialogue, communication, whatever these swords mean for you in the month of May, it's definitely going to change those plans or projects, or it could inspire you to switch things up very suddenly within that environment. What emotional reactions or experiences you can expect? I mean, really, this isn't too far off the mark. I think it's going to be upsetting. This is an anxious card, the 8 of Swords, but this is sort of being your own worst enemy in your own head. It's really hard to look at all of this and say that this is going on between, say, you and at least one other person. I really don't see another agent here, a person with agency, unless it is, another person. This could just be any air sign as well, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Of course, the kings do represent the fixed signs. So being Aquarius, Sagittarius, you could be dealing strictly with an Aquarius, and this is exactly what's going on for you, but it's going to center around communication, thoughts, ideas, and beliefs, okay? But let's just say it isn't, and this is your energy or something you're asked to call upon to get through the month. It's almost like you got to help yourself out here. You have to be able to talk to somebody, get out of your head, basically spend the month of May around solution building, okay? Maybe not necessarily problem solving, because for whatever reason here, the problem or issue or concern is beyond you at this time anyway, and it looks like you could simply just have to come to terms with something here. So something you need to know about the nature of the change, it's all about balance. Like I said early on, this could be a judicial, legal, or law situation. It could be study. Definitely could be contracts. But anything having to do with equilibrium, give and take. I do see this as an unusually challenging month for you with regard to these cards here. Very interesting. Like the I think the Tower, whatever it's going to provide here, even though it's going to sweep away what doesn't work for you anymore, even though it's cold and it could be calculated here, ultimately it's a good thing, right? It's going to tear down any, say, unsturdy foundation of any kind, or it's going to alert you to situations that really aren't safe or aren't for your best interest. But it's not what you expected, and it's not really what you wanted to hear. And it could come suddenly here. And like I said, it could cause either a little bit of confusion or anxiety. But it really is something that you have to come to terms with in your own mind about this. I think one more way that I can read all of this together, seeing what energies we're working with here, is that the person that you're talking to, or that you'd like to, say, communicate with, or work with, or sign contracts with, etc., is exceptionally cold, isn't able to meet you in the middle. They're not willing to compromise, etc. So, try not to carry that burden all by yourself here, Sagittarius. Here with Porcupine, so additional messages for you is innocence, one of my favorite cards out of this deck. This is really another term for, in my view, the porcupine could be playfulness. It's just about innocently playing. Like, what was it like as a child? What was it like without concern or commitment or endeavor? Or even there's a sense of like, it's sort of the antithesis to the King of Swords, like to pure intellect and cerebral power, right? As power jumps out. The porcupine is really antithetical to that. It's really completely the opposite. This has no ego. And I do find the King of Swords, love it or like it or hate it, it does have an ego. So these are two different worlds here. Maybe it's just a nice reminder to, like I said, just be innocent, slow down a little bit. Try to keep balance this month, especially if there is a lot of heaviness around communication, contracts, or internal dialogue. So like I said, we did have power jump out as I was talking about power. The cool thing about the power card is that it's one or the other, right? It's power with or power over. So you have power with other people and you have power over yourself. If you switch those things up, things will always end badly. And when people do that with you, it's just going to end badly. If people try to have power with themselves and power over other people, it's just no one wins in that situation. So remember, we want to have power with other people and power over ourselves. There's a lot of strength here. I think this is sort of mirroring this Ace of Wands. By the way, you know, it's a lucky omen when I see the aces as well. So there is a period of action here. Maybe this could also be sort of, you know, a cautionary tale. If you were about to, say, get into a contract, or were just about to sign, or just about to make a decision, for example, right after you had made a move and you're about to make a move towards something, if someone's trying to, say, press you into hurrying, or trying to rush something that you feel for whatever reason, is a very bad idea, I would forego it. Don't get rushed or pushed into anything this month, because it's just gonna, you know, it's gonna daunt you, right? And I don't think it'll be worth it. It's just gonna be, even if it isn't about court and law and so forth, it could become about that. So just watch your back, watch what you say. Be kind to yourself, check your thoughts, you know, watch how other people talk to you. Look at motives and motivations this month. Look at sudden changes or where things maybe aren't built on solid ground, and maybe try to affect that yourself versus having it be done for you. You know, maybe accept, look, this isn't on solid ground. I'm going to authorize these changes by myself and not wait for that decision to be made for you. In the romance front, the soulmate. Yes, this is your soulmate. It's a beautiful card to see. And then, of course, flirt. Extend your lighthearted energy to others. So we can see this sort of in the sense of playfulness, the flirtiness, for example, here with the innocence. So when it comes to romance, I would say that that's going to be a lovely month for you. Really nothing to see there that's confusing or upsetting. If this all has to do about romance with you however, you know, again, I would really, perhaps part of this in terms of internal dialogue and communication, facts and evidence, okay, research, that type of thing. This Uranus ruled tower as well. You know, it could just be you need to come to terms with something, you know. You need to figure something out for yourself here before you talk to somebody else. And then the tribe, this is really just looking at where do you belong? Where do you fit in? Where do you want to fit in? And if you don't belong, why? What is it about that community? Perhaps this is just a period of enormous growth for you as well, Sagittarius, and you could be growing away from your old tribe, as it were. This does not mean that enemies are incurred at this time. It just means that maybe it's a time to move forward in your life and find where you fully belong and you do feel safe and you can say what's on your mind, and you don't feel imbalanced. You don't need things to come to a balance all the time. You can just be yourself. So Sagittarius, I hope that was helpful. Check out your moon and rising sign readings as well for additional messages. Until the next video, take excellent care. Bye for now.